Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Chinese Communist Party's brutal campaign of oppression against the Uyghur people is a scar on the conscience of the world. The Labour Party stands with the people of China, including the Uyghur people in Xinjiang, and we condemn any actions by the CCP that infringe on their human rights. We know that 1.5 million Uyghur are incarcerated in re-education camps and subjected to ideological indoctrination courses where they must learn Mandarin Chinese, recite laws banning unapproved religious practices, and sing songs praising the Chinese Communist Party. And we know that beatings and solitary confinement are routinely used to punish those who fail to comply. The accounts that have emerged today about the CCP's draconian measures to suppress birth rates are utterly horrific. Women subjected to forced IUD insertions, pregnancy prevention injections, sterilisation. The CCP appears to be engaged in what some experts are calling a campaign of demographic genocide. Will the Minister therefore confirm today that the government will call for an impartial international investigation into what is happening in Xinjiang? Will he confirm that the imposition of measures intended to prevent births within an ethnic or religious group is expressly forbidden under the Article 2D of the UN Convention on Genocide? Will he confirm that any country that is a contracting party to the UN Convention on Genocide may call upon the UN to take appropriate action under Articles 4, 5 and 6 of that convention, and the UK government will now therefore make the necessary representations? Does the Minister recognise that the CCP actions in Xinjiang reflect a wider pattern of behaviour in terms of its increasingly authoritarian policies at home and aggressive expansionism abroad, including in Hong Kong, Ladakh and the South China Sea? And will he set out how the government intends to defend human rights and the rule of law? And will the government now engage proactively with the EU, the US and governments in the Asia-Pacific region who share our democratic values to lead the international response in building a consensus against the CCP's increasingly belligerent behaviour towards its own people? Thank you.
Well, I thank the honourable gentleman for putting his concerns so concisely on this matter. But what I can tell the honourable gentleman, we have been very active on this issue. We've played a leading role in raising these concerns bilaterally and at the United Nations. He's absolutely right. We do have concerns about the detention and human rights abuses. Over 1 million Uyghur Muslims detained and other minorities in what are, I will call them, they are called political re-education camps. Some people may refer to them as other things. The systematic restrictions on their culture and the practice of Islam, alongside the targeted surveillance of minorities, is something we deplore. What I will tell the honourable gentleman, on the 10th of March, the 43rd session of the Human Rights Council, we raised our concerns about these violations specifically and with regards to forced labour in Xinjiang. That was under our Item 4 statement. On the 9th of March, the Foreign Secretary raised the same concerns about Xinjiang with his Chinese counterpart. As I said in my statement, I've spoken directly with the Chinese ambassador to raise our concerns over human rights in Xinjiang. And on the 25th of February, at the 43rd session of the Human Rights Council, Lord Ahmed, the Minister for Human Rights, raised directly at the conference his concerns about Xinjiang during his opening address. And we're calling on China to allow the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights unfettered access to the region.